Yo, what's up guys, it's Apex here. Today we'll be testing out 20 plus PS3 titles on Android with the help of Mobox emulator and RPCS3 emulator. So as you guys know, in my previous videos I talked about how to set up the RPCS3 emulator on Android. The older build of RPCS3 will be using the version 0.0.06. I have already talked about it in my last videos where we tested out God of War 3 as well as God of War Ascension. But today I have loaded lot of demo games on this RPCS3 emulator. For example, Uncharted 2, WWE SmackDown vs Raw 2009, Yakuza 3 demo, Resident Evil 5 demos, Need for Speed Shift demo, Mortal Kombat, Mass Effect 2 demo, Iron Man demo, Gran Turismo, FIFA 11, Dead Space 2, Dragon Ball Z Burst and Batman Arkham Asylum. So we'll be testing out all of these games in this single video. So before starting, if you guys are new here, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on all notification as I upload similar videos on my channel. With that being said, let's get started. And for those of you guys who are curious to how I managed to set up RPCS3 emulator on Android, I'll put the setup video on the iCard above along with God of War 3 and Ascension test. Anyways, let's head on over to the settings and let me show you guys the best settings for this version of RPCS3 emulator on Mobox emulator Android. PPU decoder, make sure to set it to recompiler. Afterwards, go to the graphics section. Make sure to set the renderer as OpenGL, aspect ratio as 16:9, resolution as 1920 by 1080. If you want to decrease the resolution, you can do so as well, but I wouldn't recommend you won't get an 16:9 aspect ratio in decreased resolution. Anyways, make sure to untick these 4 options of write color buffers, read color buffers, etc. and VSync has also been disabled. The working of this emulator is bit complicated because we are using an Windows emulator for Android to emulate the older build of RPCS3 emulator. There is also some new builds of RPCS3 emulator which I have found that I need to test out on this emulator. I'll be doing that very soon, so I do recommend you guys subscribe. Anyways, let's start with the first game, which is going to be Batman Arkham Asylum. Let's tap on the boot icon and immediately, as you guys can see, Batman Arkham Asylum demo is about to start. We are getting almost 29 FPS, as you might be able to see at the top left corner, and this is quite surprising because very less games can boot in this previous alpha build of RPCS3 emulator Android, and the FPS is fluctuating, so I'll need to wait for a few seconds to see if the game actually boots. Alright guys, so after waiting for a few minutes, the RPCS3 emulator completely crashed, which means that this game is unsupported. So let's head on over towards our next game, which is going to be Call of Duty World at War. I'll just go ahead and double tap, and at the bottom you will see some logs. Anyways, I don't know if any of these games work. I only know that Sonic CD works properly on this emulator, so I am very interested to see. I have never tested any of these games out on RPCS3 Android, so let's wait for a few seconds to see if it actually works. Alright guys, I am just seeing an black screen, so I think we need to skip this game. Anyways, now let's just go ahead and try out Dragon Ball Z Burst. Now I have loaded 2 versions of this game. One might work, I'm not really sure. But after we opened the first version, the RPCS3 emulator once again crashed. So let us just go ahead and reopen the emulator and try reopening the game. Sometimes emulator does crash, it's not a big deal. If it crashes again, then it means that the game doesn't work. So let's wait. Alright, FPS bar at 27, and now we are just seeing a black screen, so I don't think this version of Dragon Ball Z Burst works. Let's just go ahead and try out the different version which I have loaded, and here you can see we are getting around 3 FPS in the FPS bar. But once again it seems that the game just deadlocked, so no, this game also does not work on RPCS3 emulator. You know guys, it's so annoying because all of these games are opening, but unfortunately they are just getting deadlocked, and I do believe it's because RPCS3 is incompatible. The old builds of RPCS3 was not compatible of running such games. Let's just go ahead and try out Dead Space 2 demo, and this literally froze the RPCS3 emulator. Okay, wait a second. For some reason we just got an error message, so I don't think Dead Space 2 demo also works. Let's just go ahead and try opening FIFA 11 demo. So we'll just go ahead and tap on the boot option, and as I was saying, it's very annoying because most of these games actually boot, but they are unable to run on this previous build of RPCS3. FIFA 11 doesn't work. We already tried out God of War 3 demo in our previous video, so let's try out Gran Turismo HD, and there are so many logs at the bottom. But unfortunately the game did not manage to boot. We have also tested out God of War Ascension, so let's head on over towards the Iron Man demo and tap on the boot option. Okay, there we go, there is some hope. I think this might boot, or it might not even boot. Anyways, as I was saying, I am very keen to test out the newer versions of RPCS3 emulator. It's just that if you use the latest version of RPCS3 emulator, it won't run on these Windows emulators, so you have to go for builds which work on such emulators. There are only very few limited builds, but no Iron Man also does not work. Let's just go ahead and try out Mass Effect 2 demo, and it appears that the emulator has frozen once again. Well, never mind, the game actually managed to boot, but yeah, once again with a black screen. Let me just go ahead and minimize it. So as you can see at the bottom, it shows FPS 00 Mass Effect 2. So no, this game doesn't work on the RPCS3 emulator Android. Like, these games would actually run if it was a newer version of RPCS3. That's what troubles me the most. Let's try out Mortal Kombat demo, and once again we are not seeing any signs of hope. So let's just go ahead and skip to Need for Speed Shift, and once again there are a lot of logs, but no, the game did not boot. So let's try out Resident Evil 5 demo on the RPCS3 emulator, and once again we see some logs, but the game doesn't boot. So we are almost done with testing out all the games on our Android device. Let's try out Uncharted 2, and we have a log file saying that failed to load the self for metadata. So no, this game doesn't boot. Let's try out Uncharted Drake's Fortune, and just take a look at how many logs there are. This game also didn't manage to boot. Let's try out the final two games, which is going to be WWE SmackDown vs Raw 2009 and Yakuza 3 demo. WWE didn't boot, so let's just go ahead and try out our last game, which is going to be Yakuza. So yeah guys, it is pretty annoying to see that many of these games boot, but they actually don't work because of the older builds of RPCS3 emulator. But don't worry though, I'll try. Oh, what the heck is this, bro? Some game managed to boot suddenly after some time. Anyways, as I was saying, one thing which I follow through in my life is the fact that I never give up, and I won't give up until we manage to emulate some of the big titles, some of the big PS3 titles on Android, because obviously you can use an cloud gaming PC to run RPCS3, but it's just long, man. So yeah, it is also showing me black screen, so we'll just go ahead and close it. So yeah guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments section down below what are your thoughts on emulating PS3 titles on Android inside an Windows emulator. Let's hit 200 likes on this video, and I'll upload updated test video of testing these games in a newer version of RPCS3 emulator. Till then, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.